We've been to every cruise line private island, some more than once over the years. Here is how they rank with other cruisers and my own personal opinion of which cruise line private islands are best and worst. Hi there, I'm Ilana from the website lifewellcruise.com. Welcome back to my channel. Now, if it is your first time heading out to a cruise line private island, you're in for a good time. But something that you should know is that all cruise private islands are not made the same. And in fact, these days there are even more differences that set them apart. But in this video, I am going to share some information that you could use if you're heading to any of the cruise line private islands. But I am also going to share my pretty unfiltered opinion about how each cruise line ranks on a scale of 1 to 10. Now, before I get started, there are two things. If I say one of the cruise line private islands is not my favorite or another one I like very much, please do not be offended because it is okay. We all have different opinions and I definitely want to hear from you. So let me know your own thoughts down in the comments below. And secondly, if you like this video, if you find it helpful, informative, or enjoyable in any way, then please do give this video a big thumbs up. I really do appreciate it. And please subscribe to the channel if you haven't done so already. Let's get started. Oh, and by the way, just so that this list isn't completely subjective, I did poll the Lifewell Cruise Facebook community, and I will share with you the 3 top cruise line private islands, and honestly, it might surprise you. Coming in at the lowest ranking is Princess Cays. Now, Princess Cays is a quite lovely island in Eleuthera, Bahamas. Now, it definitely has some things going for it, but it does also have some cons. Okay, so starting off with some pros and what you can expect if you are heading to Princess Cays, one of the pros is the fact that you do have your chairs included. So lounge chairs, that is quite nice. That is included. You also have a very nice lunch buffet. I would say you would consider it sort of a barbecue style lunch. You do have some drinks included as well. Now, if you have the Princess Plus package or the Princess Premier package, this is a really big pro because your package does work on the island. And also when it comes to your Wi-Fi package, that works on the island as well. Now, some of the things that can be considered cons is the beach is a little bit rocky, so it's a good idea to bring some water shoes. Now, in contrast to some other private islands that have had some updates in recent years, Princess Cays has stayed pretty much the same for, I'd say, at least the last 10 or 15 years, perhaps more. And there aren't some of those bigger attractions that some people might like. Now, something that I think is getting to be a little bit of a bigger con and is one of the reasons that it's ranked on the lower side, at least for me, is the fact that it's a tender port. So there is no dock to head out to the island, which means that you have to line up or get some tickets to go on a tender to get to the private island, and that just makes it less convenient. Now, for these reasons, I ranked Princess Cays as a 6.5 out of 10. Now, I always like to share what is the vibe whenever I'm reviewing anything, and the vibe is pretty nice on Princess Cays, in my opinion. It is laid back, chill, classic cruising private island. Now, if you've been to Princess Cays or you are heading there anytime soon, please let me know down in the comments below. Next up, we have Norwegian Cruise Line's Great Stirrup Cay. Now, I do want to let you know that if I make this video in a year from now or even a few months from now, it might change because Great Stirrup Cay is going through some extensive renovations and really some pretty amazing stuff going on. But we do have to talk about what it is like right now. Now, Great Stirrup Cay is very beautiful. In fact, when I was there a few months ago, I thought it was in some ways prettier than I thought. The white sand beach is really nice. I should say, by the way, I rate Great Stirrup Cay a 7 out of 10 at the moment. Now, some of the pros that you're going to have with Great Stirrup Cay is the fact that they have actually quite a nice barbecue buffet. It was probably better than some of the included buffets that we've seen recently on cruises. Now, you did also have a little hot dog stand, so that was kind of fun as well. Now, the beach, like I mentioned, is very beautiful. And fun fact, there are some pretty good places for some Instagrammable photos, including the Great Stirrup Cay Swing and the lighthouse. Now, just like all of the cruise line private islands, you do have your choice of lots of lounge chairs. These are all included. And one of the things that I really like is that right now, the More at Sea package, so if you do have that beverage package, that is included on the private island. Now, in terms of cons, the last time that we were on the private island, the Wi-Fi did not work. Another con is the fact that at least right now it is a tender port. However, I believe by December 2025 they're going to have a dock. So that is going to be a huge difference. Now also right now they do not have a pool. So for anybody who likes that resort style pool, that is coming soon, but it is not quite ready. Now, like I mentioned, there are some extensive refurbishments happening. Big water park, the adult only vibe shore club is coming. I think this is actually going to be like a cruise private island to beat, but we're not quite there yet. Let me know what you think. Now, what's the vibe? Chill, fun, relaxing beach day, just like you'd expect from NCL. If you are heading to this private island in the future, in particular, after all of the updates, do let me know if you're excited about it down in the comments below. Holland America's Half Moon Cay. Now, Half Moon Cay is owned by Holland America as well as Carnival because it is part of Carnival Corporation. And I have to say, Half Moon Cay has a little bit of a special place in my heart. And I think in a lot of other cruisers' hearts as well. It just has this idyllic private island feeling. Now, Half Moon Cay comes in ranked at 7.5 out of 10, and it does have some pros and cons. Now, in terms of pros, it has one of the most stunning beaches with clear water. It really is so picturesque, and the sand is so soft. I think it might be maybe one of the only private islands that I don't think you need water shoes for at all. Now, this private island has some nice nature trails. You're also going to find these large stretches of sand where you are going to have a lot of lounge chairs available. There's a complimentary lunch buffet open from about 11 o'clock to 1 p.m. with a lot of picnic table style seating. And there are some pretty nice water sports and excursions available. Now, as beautiful as this private island is, and it really is a fan favorite, there are some cons. Now, number one con, I think, is this is also a tender port. And, you know, that does come with its challenges. That being said, it is quite a beautiful sail in. Now, another con is the fact that the cruise line drink package does not work on the private island. The food hours are a little bit limited. So if you want to go eat after about 1 p.m., there really isn't much available. And if you do want to go back to the cruise ship because you do need to take a tender, well, that isn't as easy as you might like. There is no pool for anybody who really likes that. Now, it really is extremely picturesque. I really like it. But it does look like when you come in, it does look like it needs just a little bit of a refresh. Now, one thing that I do have to say for Half Moon Cay, they have this incredible picture spot. If you've ever been there, you know, I'm going to put a picture up on the screen, but if you do go there, you have to find it and take a photo. So Holland America's Half Moon Cay ranks 7.5 out of 10. And the vibe is quiet, relaxing, and classic cruise line island feel. Now we have a new one on this list, and this is Carnival's new exclusive destination, Celebration Cay. And as you might have noticed, I did not call it a private island, but I did still want to group it within this because I think for many of us, we do think of it this way. Now, Carnival's new Celebration Cay does come with its pros and its cons. I was just there recently, and I can tell you, it is absolutely beautiful. So it definitely has a lot of things going for it. Now, Celebration Cay is located on Grand Bahama Island, about 30 minutes from Freeport. And currently, phase 1 of 3 is open. Now, Celebration Cay is huge. You have several beaches, so depending on what you really want out of that beach and the vibe, you are going to have that. You also have 2 huge lagoon style pools. You have several cabanas that you could rent, but you also have a lot of included lounge style seating, both around the pools as well as in the beach areas. And something really fun is that you have a 10-story high sandcastle that does enclose 2 water slides. So some of the pros are the fact that, of course, you've got that included seating. You do have different spaces for both adults as well as kids. Now, when it comes to the lagoon style pools, you have these nice low slope or zero slope entries. So really, really quite nice and very accessible. You have the absolutely beautiful Pearl Cove Beach Club, which is adult only, and that includes its own infinity pool as well as a chance to have a beverage package or have a beverage package as well as a meal as a more all-inclusive package, of course, at an upgraded cost. Your cruise ship Wi-Fi and your Carnival Hub app do work on the private island, so that is a pro as well. And you have a dock, so you are not tendering here. It is very easy to come on and off as you please. Now, when it comes to the food on Celebration Cay, I'm going to put this in the category of both a pro and a con, and I'll explain why. Now, while you're on Celebration Cay, there is no unlimited buffet or other types of food. Now, there is food, but you get one meal voucher per person, and this gives you a casual meal from sort of food truck style vendors. Now, while we were there recently, we had the fish tacos, and your casual meal comes with one main meal and one dessert. Now, for some, this is going to be a con because you do not have the unlimited buffet that you will have on other private islands. And when it comes to drinks, only free water and ice was available when we were there. If you wanted any other type of drink, you would have to pay for it. Your Carnival drink package, if you did have it, does not work on the exclusive destination. Now, while we really did like Carnival Celebration Cay, and I think that you will like it too, it has earned a 7.5 out of 10, mainly because it doesn't have unlimited dining. That said, I would love to hear from you. Let me know what you think down in the comments below. So what's the vibe of Carnival Celebration Cay? Beautiful and fun for everyone. MSC's Ocean Cay Marine Reserve. Now, this private island is quite different, in my opinion, because a lot of cruise lines, as they're renovating or refurbishing their private islands, are adding more, let's just say, bells and whistles. However, MSC really went the opposite way with a reclaimed industrial site turned marine reserve with coral nurseries and restored ecosystems. But like every cruise line private island, it does have some pros and some cons. Now, in terms of pros, it is home to 7 pretty distinct beaches. Now, it has a lagoon beach, which I think is pretty cool because the other beaches that are around the private island are a little bit wavy sometimes, but this lagoon beach is really quite nice because it's actually sort of in the center of the island, and it really is very calm, almost like a lake, but the color of the water is crystal clear. Now, included at MSC Ocean Cay are a lot of lounge chairs, and again, they're over several different beaches, so lots of different choices in terms of seating. Now, when it comes to eating, you also do have food included, so you have a lunch buffet. You also have, a couple of food trucks with hamburgers and hot dogs, that kind of thing. Now, you have some food trucks that do have an extra charge. I think there's some seafood, but there are included options as well. Now, a major plus is that if you have a drink package on the MSC cruise ship, your drink package is going to work on the private island, as well as your cruise ship Wi-Fi. Now, if you're somebody who absolutely loves the beach, I think that you're going to consider this private island maybe one of the best because it definitely has some relaxing vibes. In fact, I don't think that I've ever heard loud music at this private island. There's even a couple of paths where you can hear some speakers that are playing some music, but it's like very zen, almost spa-like music. It really is a calm atmosphere. Now, another pro is if you're somebody who is staying in MSC Yacht Club on the cruise ship, you do have access to an exclusive MSC Yacht Club beach, along with your own bar, servers, and lunch. Oh, and something else that is really cool on MSC Ocean Cay is that they do have a lighthouse, and if you're there at night, you are going to see a lighthouse show. It definitely is worth checking out if you're still on the island, or even if you're on the cruise ship, make sure that you head to the window. Now, I think I may have mentioned this, but it's also a pro that you are docked and you are not tendering. So it does make getting on and off very easy. Okay, so what are some of the cons of MSC Ocean Cay, or maybe just some of the drawbacks? Well, it can be a little bit windy, which means that a couple of the beaches are going to be very wavy. And in some cases, some people have found that their cruise ship hasn't been able to make it in because of the winds and the rougher seas. There is a lot of walking needed. Now, it really is quite spread apart. So if you do want to go to some of the different beaches, you're going to find that you are walking a lot. Now, that being said, there is some transportation, so just take a look at where you can pick that up. There is no resort pool, and I don't think that they have any intention of putting in a resort pool. I might be wrong on this, but due to the fact that it really does seem like they're restoring this island and the ecosystem and the coral, it really is something quite interesting. I don't think that that's something that we probably can expect. Now, MSC's Ocean Cay ranks at 8 out of 10, and the vibe is calm, relaxing, and eco-friendly. Now for one that a lot of us might even forget about, and this is Virgin Voyages Beach Club at Bimini. Now I have to tell you, I have been to this same resort under Virgin and when I was with another cruise line where they use this Resorts World location as well, but it's not branded with Virgin. And what Virgin does really does make a difference. Now, I did rate this at 8 out of 10, and I am going to tell you why. But first, a little bit about Bimini. Now, Bimini is not a private island that is owned by Virgin Voyages, but they do seem to have an agreement with Resorts World in Bimini, which is a really nice pool area, a beachfront property, and they bring their guests right from the cruise ship to and from all day and even into the evening. So let's start with some pros and then we'll move on to the cons. So firstly, it is very beautiful. There are 2 pools that you have, and something that's pretty cool with Virgin is I think it's after 11 or 12 o'clock, they turn one of the pools into a party pool and the other one continues to have a little bit of a quieter vibe. Now the party pool, they actually put some floaties in there. They've got a DJ, they've got dancers. So it really is a beach club pool party. You also have a stunning beach. The water is absolutely gorgeous. And it is some pretty impeccably soft sand. Now, like all the others, you get your choice of included lounge chairs, both around the pool as well as at the beach. But one of the nice things about this pool is they do have a few lounge chairs that are just inside the pool. Now, another pro is the included lunch, and I really loved it. I could see that not everybody is going to love this. So for me, this is a pro, but for somebody else, this might be a con because it's a Bahamian style lunch. So this means I think there was a little bit of a curry or something like that. There was plantain. It was really a little bit different. You don't have hamburgers or hot dogs or anything like that. But personally, I found it really good, and it was quite enjoyable on the private island to have this kind of meal. Now, Virgin Voyages, at the time that I'm filming this, does not have a drink package, at least not one that they offer all the time. I think they are testing out something right now. However, they do have a bar tab when you're on the cruise ship. So your band or your sailor's band that you would use on the cruise ship, this works on the island as well. And if you were staying in Bimini a little bit later, they do have a bonfire on the beach, and this is included. So what are the cons? Well, while you do dock in Bimini, unfortunately, you can't just step right off the cruise ship and into your private island paradise. What you do need to do is take a tram that will bring you over. So you have to figure that that might take you a half an hour or more. And if it is very busy, you may have to wait a little while. Now, like I mentioned, when it comes to the included food, it may not appeal to everyone, and it does tend to be small portions. And the music can be a little loud. So if you're somebody who wants a little more peace and quiet, this might not be your favorite. Now, I should mention, I almost forgot that because soda is included on Virgin Voyages, when you are in Bimini, you do have your soda included from the bar as well. Now, this ranks at 8 out of 10, and the vibe is adult beach club party vibes all the way. Now, I have one more cruise line private island, and then I am going to share with you the top 3 according to cruisers. So the top ranked cruise line private island is, perhaps no surprise to anybody, Perfect Day at CocoCay. Now, I know some people pronounce it Perfect Day at CocoCay, but this rhymes to me, so let me know if I am wrong. In any case, Perfect Day at CocoCay. Now, just to let you know, Royal Caribbean refurbished this probably somewhere around 10 years ago. They did some major work, and in fact, we were there probably about 20 years ago when it looked like a regular beach private island like some of the others, and you had to go there by tender. It really was very beautiful. But of course, they did a lot of work. Now, on Royal Caribbean's private island, you're going to find a huge water park. It actually has, I think it is the tallest water slide in the Caribbean, at least it was at one point. It has several beaches, a huge lagoon, and an adult-only beach club. Now, I ranked Royal Caribbean's Perfect Day at CocoCay with a 9 out of 10 for these pros and cons. Now, in terms of pros, there's actually something for everyone. So even though I talked about the water park and the exciting things to do on this private island, they really do have some quieter areas as well. Now, like all of the other islands, you do have free or included lounge chairs as well. And while there is an extra charge for that big water park with all the water slides, there are also included water activities and a splash park available at no extra charge for younger children. You have lots of trams that are available to bring you around the island because at this point now, it really is quite large. Now, a really big plus is that if you have the drink package on Royal Caribbean, or if you have your Wi-Fi package, that works on the island. Now, another big pro is the food. And I think when it comes to maybe any of the private islands, there might be the most variety included. And I think really that considering it's all included food, the quality is actually quite good. Now, you've got a couple of really big buffets, including tacos and hamburgers and lots of really good stuff, fruits and vegetables. You have soft ice cream that you're going to find there, a lot of different juices that are available, and you have these snack shacks available as well with Greek salad, with chicken sandwiches and more. Now, something that I think is pretty cool is the fact that there are towel stations right on the island. So you can bring your towel right off the cruise ship with you, but then you could trade it in for a dry one when you're on the island. And if I'm not mistaken, I think you can even give it back there as well, so you don't have to lug it back to the cruise ship. Now, if I am mistaken on that, please do let me know down in the comments below. And of course, another pro is that we are no longer tendering. It's probably been about 10 years now. They do have a dock that holds, I believe it is 2 cruise ships, so you can easily get on and off from the island and from the cruise ship. Now, when it comes to the cons, I've heard some people say that you have to spend money in the private island. Now, I do not agree that you have to spend money, but if you do go with teenagers or maybe older kids or tweens, they may want to participate in that large water park or in the water slides, and that is going to cost you extra, but don't feel that you have to. Now, another con is that the lagoon style pool, that is really quite popular and it can get a little bit loud. There's an adult area with a swim up bar, which is definitely a lot of fun, but it can get busy, loud, and especially when you do have 2 mega cruise ships that are in at the same time, it can get a little bit crowded. So what's the vibe of Royal Caribbean's private island? It is fun, adventurous, with some relaxing possibilities. All right, so I have that top 3, but first I did want to mention something. I did not include Disney's Castaway Cay. I really only included like the major cruise line private islands, and while I know Disney apparently has an amazing private island, I haven't been there before, so I didn't think it was fair to rank that. And I also didn't include Norwegian's Harvest Caye as it's not a private island in the same way as Great Stirrup Cay is. And I didn't include Labadee either, just because Royal Caribbean cruise ships haven't been going there for about a year. All right, without further ado, the top 3 cruise line private islands according to cruisers. Let's start at number 3, then we'll work our way up to number 1. Number 3 is MSC's Ocean Cay Marine Reserve. Now, this is very loved by many cruisers, and MSC, even though this is a cruise line that may not be for everyone, their private island earns high praise. Coming in second place is a little bit of perhaps a surprise winner, but people do love this cruise line private island. This is Holland America's Half Moon Cay. Now, a lot of people have great memories here and say that even though it really doesn't have the bells and whistles of some of the other cruise line private islands, it just has one of the most beautiful, unspoiled beaches you could ever find. And coming in at number 1, might not be a surprise, is Royal Caribbean's Perfect Day at CocoCay. And people, even if they don't love cruise line private islands, say, wow, this one is just the best and the one to beat. Now, do keep in mind that no matter what cruise line private island you are going to, there is no bad one, so I'm sure that you are going to enjoy it, but please let me know down in the comments below which one is your favorite and which one are you most excited about going to next. Now, I hope that you enjoyed this video. If you did, please do give it a big thumbs up. I really do appreciate it, and please subscribe to the channel if you haven't done so already. Bye for now, and happy cruising.